Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the NRG Trios event, where we're bringing you 7 rounds of action. We've got standard, we've got modern, we've got legacy, and more importantly, I'm joined by that man there in the booth, Mr. Donovan O'Donnell. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to watch some more team action. We've got to see a little bit of legacy, a little bit of standard, a little bit of modern, and Will, talk to us about what we are going to be watching this round.
Well, we started the day off with some legacy, and round 2 we started with some standard. So naturally, we're looking at chat. I literally got chat right there, and I can hear you all calling out for a certain deck that you want to watch. And we've got this round. We have a Nardu mirror sat down in our modern feature. So we're going to start off and kick off today with a Nardu modern, because I don't think everyone's seen it. This might not be in the future. We might not ever see it again after this game. So we're going to go straight down to the feature match table where we have got Nardu versus Nardu. You know, this is what you want. This is what you called out for, chat. I can see it now. Look how happy you all are to watch this mirror. It is going to be phenomenal. It is going to be fireworks. It's going to be so back and forth and interactive. It is going to be amazing. Both players looking at their opening hands here, seeing if they want to keep. What turn can we combo off here? What's the earliest turn you can combo off for?
I don't think you can do it on turn 2. I think it's just turn 3. I'm pretty sure it's turn 3. I don't think it's turn 2.
All right, well, we're going to start off with a breeding pool, and then we're going to, it looks like we're going to shock that in, and we're going to go straight to the legacy one. We're trying, chat, we're trying. We're starting with legacy. We don't want to see no Nardu mirrors on this channel ever again. If Wizards are listening, never again do we want to see that. But it does mean that we get to start with some Grixis, Tempo, and Demir mid-range. Now, this is going to be a cool little bit of back and forth, a little bit, some blue spells cast. How's this going to go?
So, Grixis on the side of Sean Gallagher. These decks are very, very similar in what they're doing. Grixis Tempo. Sean has Tamiyo, Psychic Frog, Channeler, Murktide, Brazen Borrower as the threats, and then kind of the traditional speed of interaction, Force of Will, Daze, Lightning Bolt, a couple Pyroblast in the main. And then for Vinny's side of things, a lot of similar cards. Nethergoyf, Psychic Frog, Orcish Bowmasters, just without that red splash. So it really is going to come down to, are the red cards worth it? Because they have a lot of similarities between these deck lists. And just to highlight the red cards here, mostly in the main deck, it's just Lightning Bolt and Pyroblast. And I think I want to highlight Pyroblast specifically as a card that seems pretty good in a matchup like this, because traditionally speaking, there's maybe not a ton of ways to remove Psychic Frog from the battlefield, and Pyroblast is one of those ways.
So I'm seeing a lot of Tamiyos in these decks. So like one player's got 4 copies, the other's got 2, and 2 Stifles. Shout out, love Stifle. But like Tamiyo's a card I just don't think it's really seen the power level of this card yet. We still see it played a little bit in modern. We see it flipped. You think, oh my god, this card's so broken, so great. But I don't think it's had its time to shine yet. I think it's kind of, under the radar, even though we can all face up value, think this card is amazing. Why are we now seeing it in Legacy as a 1 mana for a 0/3 flyer?
Well, if you thought that Tamiyo was pretty good in Modern, it's actually even better in Legacy due to the presence of Brainstorm, where Tamiyo can flip after you've drawn 2 additional cards, and Brainstorm is a 1 mana way to just immediately flip Tamiyo. And I think that's why we're seeing a lot of Tamiyos in these deck lists, where, these decks kind of aim towards sometimes can aim towards be playing a bit of a longer game, and Tamiyo on the battlefield, especially if you can flip it as early as turn 2, where you go turn 1 Tamiyo, turn 2 Brainstorm flip, plus that can sort of maybe run away with the game if you can stop your opponent from attacking it. And we see a Tamiyo. I don't know if there's a Brainstorm in hand for Sean. I think there might be.
I can see Lightning Bolt, Pyroblast. I think that's a Preordain. I don't think that card. It might be a Brainstorm. It might be the Ice Age Brainstorm. We don't need to do it now, right? It's any turn that we draw 3 cards.
Yeah, and if Sean has a Brainstorm, you could even maybe respond to Vinny's fetch land, and then Brainstorm, and that way Vinny can't respond and have a removal spell for the Tamiyo. So, and Vinny fetching out a basic land here. I want to take a look if I don't think there's any like Harbinger of the Seas or anything like that in the main deck, at least. Those are only in the sideboard. But that is something we could go towards in the post-board games, as we see a Fatal Push. And beautiful sequencing. So Fatal Push, in response, we're going to Brainstorm to try and flip the Tamiyo, but that is going to be met with Daze.
Yeah, Daze, great card. Like, genuinely, I love this card. I play with it so much. I think it's a cool design card. Throwback to, is it Machinian Masks block? Did that come out?
Days?
Question
Yeah,
mark?
Days
Yeah.
was in Nemesis, I think, which was the set after Masks.
So now here comes Delta.
All right,
Starting off with a
You're good at full art and promo cards. What is that full art card in Sean's hand? The one at the top.
it's Pyroblast.
Pyroblast? Okay.
Yep, it was one of the store promo ones. Again, I know that because I've played them in Pioneer. It's nice,
And
actually. They're
looking
really nice. They're like an anime type one. They're really, really nice. They did
Ah.
a blue version of the counter spell, like a standard start counter spell, and then Pyroblast is the red one. It's really cool.
Yeah, and if we look at the graveyard here for Sean, as Sean casts a copy of Dragon's Rage Channeler, sorcery from Ponder, artifact, instant, and creature. So that Channeler, even though there's 4 cards in the graveyard already turned on, which means the Bowmaster cannot kill it. It's got to go upstairs. And that's another thing that I kind of want to highlight real quick is if you look at these deck lists, Vinny is playing 3 copies of Orcish Bowmasters, and Sean is playing 0. There are no Bowmasters in the 75. So that is another interesting dynamic about this mirror match is, on the one hand, one player has Bowmaster, which you would imagine pretty good in a matchup like this. There's Brainstorms, Ponders, and things of that nature. But Sean does not have his own copies.
Well, looking at Sean's deck, the black splash is purely for Psychic Flog. And in the sideboard, there's a couple of Dark Patrols. Other than that, it's just Psychic Frog. Is Psychic Frog that powerful in Legacy?
Yeah, yes. I mean, we've been talking about the potential, the upcoming ban list on Monday, and there's been a lot of talk about Grief and Legacy. I've heard some players talking about Psychic Frog too. I mean, it really has kind of warped a lot of these sort of tempo style decks because it is so good when the legacy decks are very much better at filling up their graveyard than the modern decks. So the exile 3 cards to give it flying comes up a bit more because they just have more cheap cards, more fetch lands, dazes, Force of Will's, Wastelands. And on top of all of that, there's like a bunch of cantrips, ponders, brainstorms, and the removal is better. So it just all of these things make Psychic Frog a much better threat in Legacy than it is in a format like Modern.
Look, you say his name, he shall appear. Psychic Frog was the draw, and it looks like the card that is going to get cast. Is it going to resolve? Question mark. Do see the full art copy over on Vinny's side as well, which I think is getting ditched for this Force of Me, leaving just double Bowmaster in hand.
Vinny's going to pitch. And I mean, the leftovers being 2 Bowmasters is still pretty good for Vinny. You could fire one of those off in the end phase and kind of just sort of try to get Sean dead before that Channeler crosses the finish line. So end step Bowmaster put Sean down to
this is going to have
16.
Pyroblast, right? Like it's that Force of
Oh,
Me
right. We knew about the Pyroblast.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we get the Surveil trigger.
So the Pyroblast is going to fight over the Force, and then Sean resolving. See, it's interesting though because Psychic Frog maybe not at its best against 2 copies of Bowmaster because the draw is mandatory. The draw is not a may. So if you're in a situation where you attack with Psychic Frog and Vinny has a Bowmaster, you have to draw that card. Now we do know about the Lightning Bolt in Sean's hand, which can take care of at least one of the Bowmasters, and Sean doesn't know about the second or the third copy. But yeah, this is going to get interesting to see if Sean, does Sean even attack next turn?
Well, just having a 1-2 body is pretty good at holding off these Bowmasters by itself. But nah, we're getting in. What could this be representing then? Like what could I, if I'm trying to work out what are these last 2 cards for Vinny here, why would they be attacking? Because right now I've got Lightning Bolts. So I'm quite happy I can kill one of these. If I can block and kill one of these.
It's interesting because you have the other copy of Bowmasters, but Sean can just discard a card to grow the Psychic Frog. So that's what's going to happen. The Bowmaster, I presume, is going to target the Psychic Frog. Sean can discard the non-Lightning Bolt card, which I think is a Ponder. He kind of wants to discard that anyways in the face of these Bowmasters. That'll keep the Frog in play. Vinny will lose a Bowmaster. And now what you can do is you can say maybe exile 3 cards to give the Frog, or maybe not even give it flying, maybe just let him block. And then you attack with both, and then after blockers are declared, you could even wait on this bolt. Oof. Where you could say attack first. Okay, we're just gonna kill it now so that the Bowmaster can't chump block, and then that's gonna mean 1 less Bowmaster, which means 1 less trigger off a Bowmaster when the Psychic Frog connects.
So we get double Surveil here. Tamiya going to the graveyard and another Dragon Rage Channeler. Lightning Bolt resolves. Orcish Bowmaster goes to the graveyard. Now we're going to get in there for 5 points of damage. Draw a card. Trigger happens as long as we remember it. Yes, we do. So that orc mass token's getting big.
Yeah, 4/4 right now.
Doesn't
And
matter.
Wasteland.
Oh no, it does. I thought it looked like a removal spell the way we flung it, but yeah, Wasteland's going to be the land for the turn. Brazen
And
Borrower in hand.
Sean does have lethal in play, theoretically. Now, we know that Vinny has the Brazen Borrower, so maybe Vinny could say, attack for 4, put Sean down to 7. Brazen Borrower, the Psychic Frog, takes 6, go to 2. And then hope what can you draw if you're Vinny? I guess you can draw another copy of you could draw the 4th Orcish Bowmasters. Wait, hold on, let me look at how many copies there were there. There's only 3, so you actually can't draw the 4th Orcish Bowmasters.
So we can't discard both cards in hand to make it lethal. So yeah, just taking the 5 here makes sense. So we're going to draw an extra card.
Right, but that's going to trigger the Bowmaster. Okay, so that's going to put Sean down to 6, and you do have 6 power in play.
We've got a blocker though. Ponder was the draw. We don't really like that. That is another. Is that a Tammy off the top?
It might have been a frog.
No, I think
it was a frog.
Tamio.
Was it?
I think so. Didn't look like a frog to me.
I see.
You might be right.
Yeah,
we'll find out.
It's tough to say. No, I think you're right. I think it was a Tamio, and it looks like a spell bomb and a fetch land.
Looks like we're not keeping either of them. I think this is land, spell bomb, cracking it straight away, making that a 1 power Dragon Age Channeler.
Okay. And what this also does is it exiles the graveyard. So not only shrinks the channelers, but also means that Vinny can now chump block the Psychic Frog. But yeah, so I think Vinny was thinking about attacking on board. What did I miss?
Well, no. So basically, he had 3 cards in hand, discards all 3 cards, gives the frog flying, flies over the top, gets the W. Yeah, it's just the way things lined up there. Didn't really hit what needed to hit. So we get to go to, they're going to go to sideboarding, but because this is a team event, we get to go back down to let's go standard. And let's chat. If you want the Nardu mirror, just let me know. If you can just type it in chat, if any ones in chat for the Nardu mirror, and then I'll make sure we go to the Nardu mirror. If not, we'll sit here in the standard seat, which looks like Temporal Lockdown has just done some work. 4 for 1.
Yeah, we're probably not going to see a lot of ones, but in any case, yeah, temporary lockdown. Okay, well, I guess we might have to.
Look, chat, if you want it, chat, because look, both games are now going to sideboards. There's only one game where we can go to. We're gonna have to go to that Nardu, man. Let's give chat what they want. Let's get back. Let's go across that Nardu mirror. How are they getting on? Looks like
they're also sideboarding, I think.
Okay, everyone's sideboarding. Sure, we don't know where to go. I don't have any more jokes, Doom. That's the problem. I know that you're itching for another joke. I can try and Google some, I guess, if we need to.
You got to come up with one on the fly. No, you can't Google it. No, you got to come up with it on the fly. It's got to be natural, okay?
A joke on the fly. Oh, I've got one. Nardu. That's the joke.
Good joke. I like that one.
Right.
That's a good one.
We'll sit here, production, until literally any other game starts. That'd be great. We're going to start off with a Delighted Halfling. What turn do you reckon we're going to go for a combo in this match? I'm going to go with a turn 3. I think turn 3. I'm going to go. Someone's going to try and combo.
Yeah, I mean the thing about this matchup is there's not really a ton of interaction. There's definitely some things with like Volatile Stormdrake that you can. So we actually had an interesting interview with the winner yesterday, Wesley, and Wesley had discussed, and I don't know if either of these players are playing Grazer. I'm going to take a look at the deck lists. I see no Grazers here and no Grazers here. But one thing Wesley had mentioned is if you have Grazer plus Colony Garden in the opening hand, you can go even on the draw, you can go turn 1, Grazer, Colony Garden, what was it? It was land, Grazer, Colony Garden, token, turn 2, land, and then that gives you the ability to like cord for the, what's it called?
Are you telling me there's a turn 2 way to combo?
No. But it's a turn 2 way to steal Nadu when your opponent is on the play and they have mana dork into their own Nadu, I think is what he was saying. It was something along those lines. I can't remember exactly what it was, but.
Well, look, I said turn 3. If Joey has Nadu, which I can see in hand, we might just see a turn 3. Oh, Dismember.
What's that?
That is the dismember from the new secret lair.
Oh, the
Monty
Monty
Python.
Python.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I gotta buy those. Those are kind of cool.
Good luck. Good luck trying to find them at a decent price, my friend. I tell you,
Oh
they
no.
are they're good. But that means no turn free combo.
Yeah, this
And now
is
now we're gonna
not
pass the turn back and see if we can combo. You know what I mean? It's like, how do we rebuild? Do we lose to the combo on the following turn?
not looking great here for Joey. If you look at Wappa's battlefield, Wappa's got a lot more stuff going on. Has the Nantuko, has the Saga, and it looks like Legacy is
Legacy.
started. So let's go back over to Legacy.
Just go straight to it. Don't even ask questions. Like we're done. Okay, let's kick it off. So land go, and turn fetch. Might see a surveil land here. Could see an untapped source if needs be, if we've got some sort of instant speed. Don't want to do it. Gonna go surveilling. I love that the surveil lands that even find their way into legacy. Like, that's how good
Yeah.
these cards are.
Yeah, I mean, especially in the decks that have reanimate, you can even imagine like Undercity Sewers surveil my tracks into my graveyard. It just gives you, more ways to set up that turn 2 reanimate. We came into this game. Looks like Sean has fired off a Wasteland on to Vinny, and no threats yet for either player. And turn 2 Brainstorm here for Vinny. Presumably has a fetch land to kind of fix that up, and maybe potentially looking for lands. I didn't get a good look, but there might have not been a second land, but he did pick up a couple of lands there.
Yeah, we found 2. Harbinger in hand as well. Chat, I want to thank you all for being here today. This is good. It means a lot that you're jumping in and watching this awesome team event that we've got going on. It is 7 rounds before we cut to a top 8. So that's 10 rounds in total of Team Magic. Standard, modern, legacy. And we're gonna try our best. Anytime there's a non-Nardu deck in modern, we will try and get there. But other than that, we will be sticking to legacy and standard for most of today. So maybe you're trying to get a heads up on one of the new GPs that are coming out. A lot more standards is going to be played. Maybe you're a fan of these older formats like we're seeing right now. Well, make sure you sit down, stuck in. This is going to be an amazing Sunday of Magic. Shout out to Dubai as well. I see Dr. Snackbar is one of the European regional regulars, comes across from Dubai, and he's a doctor. And that's all. He's a really, really nice guy. So I want to shout him out.
Love Snackbar. He's in my chat a lot. So
great guy. When are we going to get that Dubai RC? That's what I want to know. I'd love a little trip out to Dubai. More shuffling, more fetching. Comes with the format. Is what it is.
Some stuff going on here. Now, I mean, like, interesting to see this particular game because neither player has a threat yet. It looks like maybe we're going to change that in the form of Tamiyo. Not a threat in and of itself. Well, I mean, it is kind of a threat.
Yeah.
Like I said, if it flips and, plus it a bunch of times, like it does threaten to end the game. And Vinny's going to fire off a Fatal Push. And yeah, just interesting to see. Now, what I want to look at is how many copies of Murktide Region do these players have? So Sean has 3. And it looks like Vinny only has 1. So that is an interesting dynamic as well. It's, how many, like if we get into these fights over, both players having Murktide, Sean is sort of advantaged in that regard because he just has more physical copies of it.
Yeah, I'm having a look. I think, is this a matchup you bring the Dark Betrayals in? Because you know that there's Bowmasters, you know that there is most likely more frogs on the other side as well. Is that worth it?
Yeah. Dark Betrayal seems pretty good because it kills Psychic Frog and Orcish Bowmasters, and that's actually a good point. So it looks like Vinny has 1 Betrayal and Sean has 3. So Sean is sort of advantaged on both of those fronts where, 3 Dark Betrayal, as we talked about Pyroblast being a good 1-mana answer to Psychic Frog. This is another one of those good 1-mana answers to Psychic Frog. And like you said, being able to kill, especially Vinny also has more stuff that it kills because Vinny is playing Netherglyph and Sean is not.
Hello. Here we go. Harbinger, and it resolves. All those lands are now islands. That means we got no black mana. We got no more red mana. Doom, I've lost so many games to this card. But this card gets me every time. Like every single time, I'm like, oh, cool, I'll just lightning bolt it. Oh, wait, it's not a Magus of the Moon. I don't have red mana. I've only got blue mana. And it hurts me.
Yeah, I mean, really, you kind of have to dismember it. Now, if we take a look at Vinny's deck
what?
list,
Which member?
Dat member. How many of those are we working with? We are working with, looking at the deck list here, 0
0.
copies. So what outs do we have to this? If we look at Vinny's list, there
Borrower.
is
Brazen Borrower.
two borrowers after sideboard, one in the main, one in the board, and that's really it.
That literally is it. We might just see this runaway of the game, but Tamio is
I
going to
guess
flip.
Murktide.
That's a blocker, I guess. But then there's got to be answers to that on the other side, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying is maybe Sean can just say, okay, you can have this as long as I have a Murktide region. I don't really care if you have the Harbinger because I'm just going to kill you with the Murktide before the Harbinger matters. And it looks like there is a Murktide region here from Sean.
Boom! You called it, dude. All right, it's going to be big. How big are we going to make it? It looks like there's 2.
2? Yeah,
5
2.
5.
Okay.
5 5 is bigger than a 2 last time I checked.
I mean, 5 is a good number because Vinny is at 15. So 5 is divisible, or 15 is divisible by 5. So that's a 3-turn clock. And Vinny is working with, I think, a couple Bowmasters, a Brainstorm, and a Frog. So not a ton of stuff going on.
That top card is it's a wasteland, but it's basically it's a basic garden in this spot. Yeah, chat that land in play. That's a proxy. That's a tropical island. If you can't make out what it says, like that's allowed in these tournaments. Check W.
Well, you're confusing chat. They're gonna think that you're right. They're not gonna think that you're lying.
All right, top 3 Brainstorm. We see Bauble, Tamio, Wasteland. 2 more cards can go back on top.
Yeah, the Tamio is interesting, kind of, where you can Tamio, play the Bauble on Sean's turn. Next turn, attack with Tamio, get a clue, pop the clue, and that would flip the Tamio. But none of these cards are really good at answering a Murktide Regent.
Orcish Bowmaster is going to come down. We're going to choose to play that, do a point in damage to the Tamio.
I want to know what the Underground Sea says on it. I think
it's probably you borrowed it off your mate, right? And he's just like, look, put my name on the inner sleeve, so you know that one's
yep.
mine out of the 6 that you've got in your deck.
Yeah, that specific one.
Your deck.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's what I would do. I think I've done that in the past.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, you don't sign all your own cards with your own signature, Doom, before you play them.
No.
What?
No, I don't.
You need to buy some more cards off Big Will here. They've all just got Will Hall all over them.
Yeah, this Murktide region putting Vinny on a 3-turn clock, and like we said, Vinny's hand is not super great at answering this Murktide region. So Sean's going to get in there for 5. That's going to put Vinny down to 10. And I mean, I guess maybe there's a world where you Psychic Frog, and then you can discard some cards to pump it up, and then exile cards from the graveyard. But like, say Vinny draws to 3 cards in hand, plays the frog, 2 left over, discard 2 cards, put 2 counters in the frog, and still doesn't block the Murktide that turn.
We got nothing in hand. We got red cards, black cards, no blue cards. Just having to pass the turn back. Bauble is what we're going to draw. Put it to one side. Don't want to crack it just yet.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess Vinny can set up that Bauble on Sean's turn. So you Bauble on Sean's turn to draw the extra card on your turn, attack with Tamio, clue, then sack the clue, and that would flip the Tamio. But I mean, you're going to be at 5 after that because the Murktide's going to attack again.
Yeah, I remember there's a trigger from this Tamio, so everything gets -1, -0 when it attacks. So only 2 damage would get dealt. Maybe. Here comes Orcish Bowmaster. This is going to grow the Orcimass token by 1, plus the extra point is going to happen. Little bit of acting here, thinking maybe we could have a response to this because we do have blue mana. Blue mana is used to counter magic. I think there's a little bit of showmanship going on here. Like, do I want that? Okay, yeah, sure, that can happen. 2 mana. Crack the food token that we've got. I can't remember where we got that food token. Oh, it looked like it was a clue. Oh, it was a clue token, not a food token from the Tamio. That'd make a lot more sense than the food token happening.
Yeah, and it looks like I think Sean maybe picked up a Brainstorm. So what are we going towards here? I think I see a Bolt, a Frog, a Brainstorm. Not exactly sure what the last card is.
It's Dragon Age Chandler.
Okay, this is all coming at Tamio. And I mean, this is all well and good for Vinny, clearing the Tameo, doing a little bit of damage to Sean. But again, that Murktide Regent being a 2-turn clock, it's, I think Vinny does know the other top card from the Brainstorm because we brainstormed last turn. So,
Is it? Do we? I thought we hit Tameo and Bauble on top. Then we drew off the Bauble to draw the Tameo. This turn we drew the Bauble. So I think we've got Unknown on top. I could be wrong, but look, we've also got a clue in play. Remember as well, which we're not cracking end of turn.
no, because he wants to save the clue for this turn because you're drawing off the Bauble, and then I think you want to pop the clue. Found to go for the throat. That's a big one.
Now, do we have to want to go a little bit deeper to try and hit some counter magic before we fire it off?
I think you would rather play around daze here because if you pop the clue and then go for the throat, you get dazed. Whereas if you go for the throat first, now there is a counterbalance. Do we flip a 2?
It's a 1. It's a Pyroblast.
Pyroblast, okay.
And that's it. That's enough to scoop it up. Yeah.
Crazy.
Harbinger's going to get there. I told you that card it just catches you off guard so quickly. So that's going to be 1 up to the team on the right of our screen. Let's have a little go. Let's go to standard. See how that's getting on. So we got the Rakdos aggro. This is the Lizards deck that you saw earlier. That I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm literally in love with this deck. I really want to play it. It looks really
it's
cool.
So good. Yeah.
The Domain Ramp. Now, obviously we've had a rotation. What did Domain Ramp lose in rotation?
It's a good question because they did lose a lot of their mana base. The Domain deck was really built around the Triomes before, and the combination of Triome plus a basic to cast Leyline Binding early and often, the loss of Triomes did hurt quite a bit. But if you look at the mana base for this particular domain deck, they've kind of restructured their mana base a little bit. They're a lot more basic heavy. So they have stuff like Heaped Harvest and Herd Migration. That's how they get the basic land types for Leyline Binding. And then also a bit of surveilling, right? There's 4 Lush Portico, 3 Hedge Maze, and 3 Meticulous Archive. So the way that the lands are structured, it's kind of, I'm always going to have blue, white, and green. And instead of my bindings costing 2 or 1 mana most of the time, sometimes they're going to cost 3 mana. And that's okay because 3 mana for a binding plus, a card off a Beanstalk is still a pretty good rate. So they're okay with that. But they've kind of just sort of restructured the mana a little bit differently. But past that, Will, honestly, there's not a ton that's different about this. The Archangels, the Atraxas, Bindings, Beanstalks, Sunfalls, and Lockdowns, all of that stuff is still here.
Yeah, when we jumped into it early on, we saw a temporal lockdown coming down. I'm seeing 3 copies in the main, 1 in the sideboard. That seems like the key card in this matchup.
Yeah, Lockdown is huge because sometimes with Sunfall, like in theory, Sunfall is a little bit better because it kills the 3-drops, which Lockdown can't hit, like Laughing Jasper Flint and Thoughtstalker Warlock. But like it just doesn't match the efficiency of Lockdown, where sometimes you're in a position where if your opponent has a bunch of 2-drops, like especially a start that involves Flame Cash Gecko, which is the Burning Tree Emissary, you can imagine if your opponent has 1-drop into Gecko 2-drop, you're not going to live until turn 5 to cast Sunfall, and you really do need Lockdown in those draws.
We've got our attack step this round. We don't have that's Forest Island. So we can't 1 mana cast the Leyland's Binding right now. I don't think, unless any of them are some different alternative.
No, I think it's just 3 types. I think it's Hedge Maze and then 1 of each basic.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing as well. Those basics, it's a secret layer one. I can't remember the exact one it is. It's one of the newer ones.
Okay.
It might even be Monty Python ones, actually. Thinking of it.
See a duress here. I have
no clue
with that. I have no clue what that dark card is. Is that Atraxa?
Atraxa Phyrexian variant. The oil slick one.
Okay, so Atraxa and a bunch of lands here for Bradley. Was really leaning on that Sunfall, but Duress is going to take care of that. And Bradley is in a spot where he really needs to find another sweeper, something like a Lockdown or another copy of Sunfall, or this damage is probably going to be a bit too much, and we might be going to a game 3 here.
Like, do you deploy any more to the battlefield in this instance, or are you happy? If a sweeper was to happen, we've still got some cards in hand. I think that's what we're doing. We're counting now. Is like, is this a 2-turn clock? Do I need to deploy any more to the battlefield?
You don't have to, because with Bradley on 12, you could even just say attack with everything, activate my Hired Claw, and that'll be an attack for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, we're actually going towards the Restless Fence. Is this lethal? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think it's 10.
Okay, so we're making you have it this turn. Have it this turn or bust.
And what's nice about this is you're dealing 10, putting Bradley to 2. Even if Bradley can find a sweeper, Bradley at 2 means the Restless Fence is still going to be lethal no matter what.
Like
If
it.
if my math is correct, I think it's 10.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. So yeah, the creature land goes back. So untap. An angel. Does that do what gets out of this?
Could go Archangel, kicked once, kill Hired Claw, go up to 4, and then on 4 life you would block give up to 7, take 5 down to 2. I guess that would give you a window, but it would have to be Archangel for sure.
We drew a tranquil throwback. Now that can gain us life, but not
Yeah, not
enough.
enough
So,
though. Yeah,
so that's
you
going
can. The frillback can gain what, 4? So you go to 6, and then at 6 you would block the give. Yeah, it still wouldn't be enough.
to. Yeah, let's go back to Legacy. If Legacy is going to be one apiece, we can go back to that and have a look, see how it's going on. So we haven't missed too much. Looks like some wasteland action. Tammy on the battlefield that's managed to get an attack in, and a Ponder Bauble. So now here comes Brainstorm.
Yeah, looks like a Tamio that got to attack. Got to be pretty happy if you're Sean here. That Tamio just is going to generate some advantage. And if Sean has something like, say, a Ponder and not a Brainstorm, Sean can deploy third land, use the Ponder, and then pop the Clue to flip the Tamio. So that gives you additional ways to flip it even without Brainstorm. And speaking of Brainstorm, that is what Vinny's casting here. Vinny wants to find a Fatal Push. Never go if not quite that.
Never go if would be a 3/4 in this instance, so it is going to resolve. I feel like me and Vinny would be friends. I've never met him. He's got Phyrexian tattoo and cat sleeves. I just feel like we'd be friends. You know what I
You
mean?
would love Vinny. Vinny is great. I cannot say enough good things about Vinny.
Maybe when I come out there. Well, we're going to go fetch up the Underground Sea. Some Vinny fans in chat as well.
Who isn't really, you know?
That is true. Like, who isn't? Going to crack the clue in the turn. Go a card deeper. Dark Betrayal is in hand. So is a frog that we drew off the clue. Another Tamio. Oh no, that's a Pyroblast. Sorry.
Like a Pyroblast, yep. So Dark Betrayal we're leading on. This is heads up because you want to maybe play around dazed. Don't want to get that thing dazed. Tamia's going to come in, represent another clue, and then we get a Ponder. And I think there was another Ponder in Sean's hand. So if Sean finds a land, which I believe we might be missing, you can go Ponder into land, second Ponder, and that'll flip the Tamio.
Yeah, I think that's our hand looks pretty stacked. We're just missing the lands, and we're going to shuffle here with this Ponder. Give ourselves a blind draw on the top of the old noggin. Is it a land? It is a land. Easy. That's the
Was there a Ponder?
WMP promo. Flood Strand.
I lied. There's no second Ponder. It looks like the hand is Frog, Borrower, Pyroblast, Frog, Bolts?
Tamio.
Or Tamio, okay. Sean's got a lot of full art cards. It's hard to tell sometimes.
I like it. Look, it makes me look good. all these alternate arts of cards. I'm like, bam, it's that. Bam, it's that. Do you think Flage could make its way into Legacy? Or we've seen it once today in the 4 color deck. But
yeah, I was gonna say I think the 4 color deck is playing it. Past that, I mean, I think there are certain situations where maybe you like. I don't. Legacy isn't a format that it feels like the life total isn't under like as much of an issue in Legacy, or well, maybe that's not the best way to put it, but like, would you rather like is the card better than Uro? This is the only format where Uro is still legal, you know. So and the mana, I think the mana lines up for Uro better. Like there is certain like there was a situation. What was it? We saw Kyle play earlier today where Kyle had a basic island, a mystic sanctuary, and a tropical island with a flage in the graveyard. And just the way that the way that these mana bases are built, it seems like they're much more conducive to flashing back Uro than flage.
So we went for a daze check. Pyroblast is going to deal with the frog while it's on the stack, so he's going to resolve. Get in there with our frog. That's going to do a point damage. Draw a card. This is where things get scary.
Right.
And remember to draw the card.
And this is a situation where usually these matchups are a lot about player plays a threat, player answers threat. Player plays a threat, player answers threat. The problem is what happens when player plays a threat, player doesn't have the answer, and then other player plays a second threat. Because now you have 2 threats without an answer in hand, and it's it's going to be really tough for Vinny to claw back out of this. On top of the fact that I think Vinny has missed at least 1, if not 2 land drops.
And now here comes a big Murktide as well. Do we have an answer to this? I do see Brazen Burrow being pulled to the front of the hand, so it's a way of getting off once we get some open mana. But I'm looking at, do we have any like force of wills, anything to stop it? It doesn't look like it does, especially when Vinny reaches for the dice for me.
Only a 4/4 though. Small Murktide.
You mentioned about
You know,
catching up, so now there's 3 threats on the battlefild. I've got 2 mana. Are there any sweepers played in Legacy in these decks? Is there any, there's sometimes some free mana sweepers that I see cropping around in sideboards?
yeah, I mean, I'll take a look. Sometimes these decks have a Toxic Deluge. Even if that were the case, I highly doubt that these players would want a Deluge in this kind of matchup. But looking at Vinny's sideboard, the only thing that can kill more than one creature is Engineered Explosives, which wouldn't even be that good on this board. There's a 1, a 2, and a
Yeah.
7. So, yeah, there's not really a lot of ways for Vinny to claw back out of this. And you see Sean with the Borrower just maxing out the pressure here.
And this is like a real good spot to be in, right? Like Tammy's drawing us extra
Oh,
cards,
yeah.
great. We've got the Frog drawing us extra cards, great. The Frog plus Murktide, exiling sorceries and instants from the graveyard can grow the 1, give it flying, 2, grow it, 3, grows the Murktide. Everything's going up really well here for Sean Gallagher on the left of our screen.
Yeah, really unfortunate for Vinny here. Just missed a whole bunch of land drops. And, I mean, Legacy's a format where once you fall behind on board and you're missing land drops, you get into these situations where the dazes and the wastelands are so much more punishing. And you see that's kind of exactly what's happening.
Yeah, we saw
And,
days there.
yeah, daze the frog, get it out of here. And Vinny's going to fall to 11. And
Just
Sean
lethal?
might just be able to kill with the frog here, right? I don't know how many cards are in hand.
Well, if we attack with, so this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Oh,
11,
plus spells
12.
from the spells that'll trigger the Murktide. Yeah, this should
Yeah,
be more than enough.
I think this is lethal as long as we we're counting it. I've got 4 cards in hand. This is +4 to the frog. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4 cards in the graveyard we can exile to
And
grow the.
remember, yeah, and remember, every single spell that gets exiled off the frog also pumps the Murktide.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, so this is like we're going to do it twice. That's the handshake. That's Sean leveling it up for his team, which means we are going to move back to standard, where everything is on the line. The winner of this game will win it for their team, and their team will advance to a 3-0 record. Can we get a time
And
check, please? Production. How much long is on the clock?
yeah, absolutely. And as we go into game number 3, this is not maybe the most aggressive start, or maybe not the start that Tyler would want to have. Has looks like the first threat got dealt with, and then has an Iridescent Vine Lasher on turn 3 with Offspring, so that'll make a copy of it. And that means that every land that Tyler plays will deal 2 more damage to Bradley. It looks like plenty of time on the clock,
Yeah,
15
loads of
minutes,
time.
so not worried about this match going to time. But a good sequence here for Tyler. I mean, probably just wants to fire off that go for the throat. And you can even go for the throat the angel and play the deep cavern bat to do a check for Sunfall. So
Yeah.
not a bad setup here. Now it doesn't have a ton of pressure in play. Has a few creatures, but they're all kind of small. And looks like Bradley's hand is second Archangel and Get Lost,
Is that an
which
archangel? Oh yeah, it's an
I
archangel.
believe
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah,
So
archangel and get lost.
ideally you would want to take the Archangel, but if you do that, then Bradley can just get lost the bat. But what's interesting is that if you take the Archangel and you force Bradley to cast the Get Lost, that means that he can't cast the Archangel next turn. So that might be a consideration here for Tyler.
Plus, you get 2 map tokens, which could be used in your next turn to try and fill at the top of your deck. So yeah, I kind of like doing it this way around, as you said. Force them to use that. Then we can get the angel off the battlefield, take a point of damage for our troubles. More importantly, we get to get in there for 2 more points of damage. And this is all going to add up, but we need the top of our deck to be really nice to us now and not hit any more lands for the rest of this game. Where Sunfall on the other
Well,
side.
how about that,
Wow,
huh?
my deck's going to be really nice to me. Yeah, that's rough. That is rough. 3 creatures going to get exiled. We're going to get ourselves a incubate token for free. Plus, we get to get this angel back to our hand. Yeah, that is almost like worst possibles there for Tyler.
Yeah, you definitely saw like a little bit of a glimmer here for Tyler, where you could see a situation where he draws a couple of spells in a row, has some pressure on the battlefield, and is able to kind of close it out. But here it's going to be really, really tough with that Sunfall drawn off the top. We looks like we picked up a Flame Cash Gecko, I believe, which that's the Burning Tree Emissary. But even if you don't deal damage, you can still use it to rummage, where it's 2 mana, discard a card, draw a card. So that is a way for Tyler to kind of convert these extra lands and try to find some additional spells.
Yeah, your opponent has to lose life for you to be able to get the mana, though, right? So it's just
Yes.
a vanilla 2/2 currently, which if this angel comes down, we can activate it in response, get rid of this extra land we've got in hand, and hopefully turn it into a card that will help turn this game around. Because boy, do we need some help right now.
I was gonna say another banger off the top. I don't remember what the other land here that Bradley has, because I was thinking if Bradley had an untapped land, you could maybe keep the herd migration at hand and just go untapped land 6, double kick Archangel, deal you 4, gain 4, and then if you draw another untapped land, maybe you can hardcast the herd migration. But Bradley is just content with oh, we know it's a get lost, right? So the
Yeah,
hand is get lost plus angel. Okay.
yeah.
Got it.
And we just keep this free up. Cool. Like we don't need to commit yet. Like we want you, if anything, to commit more to the battlefield. That was a spell drawn at least. I think it's a lightning strike.
I think it's another gecko.
Is it a gecko? Or?
Yeah, I think it's another gecko. The funny thing about this too is
right.
one of Tyler's removal.
Oh,
3 geckos.
Okay, it's all the geckos.
Yeah, I was gonna say one of Tyler's main removal spells to remove blockers is Go for the Throat, and that can't kill the incubator token. But I mean, yeah, now Bradley's just gonna go Angel, double kick, kill 2 of the geckos, gain 4, and it's gonna be really, really tough for Tyler to come back from this.
Fun facts. I just googled what is a group of lizards called. It is a lounge. That was the lounge of lizards that we had on the battlefield there.
They're not lounging anymore.
No. They gone. Shall I see what a group of geckos is called? It's probably doing soon.
What's a group of angels called?
Heaven. A group of geckos is called a hype. Let's go.
No way, I don't believe
Let's
you.
go.
I don't believe you.
No, I just googled it, and Google doesn't lie.
Yeah, Google sometimes lies.
Once and twice. But look, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story, okay? Hype. We should now say hype every time there's more than one lizard on the battlefield. Oh, that's a hyper. That's a hyper geckos. Let's go.
A hype train.
Yeah. Love it. Okay, we're gonna do a little loot. I know. Yeah, we are looting because I don't think that enchantment's artifact's very good right now. The forge. It needs a little bit of time to build
forge. A little too slow. I mean, that card is good if you play it on turn 3, but you need a lot of time for that card, and time is not what Tyler has.
I think we drew another one as well.
Oh, really? Yeah, I mean, that card is good if you play it on turn 3 in this matchup, because there's not a ton of ways for the domain deck to answer it outside of binding, and the damage can add up very quickly. But this later in the game, this is kind of the exact situation where you kind of envision this matchup of, okay, what happens in the situation where I don't have this really fast start? I want to have some like late game good top decks, planeswalkers, and things like that. And Forge is Forge is the card that a lot of these decks go towards for the quote unquote grindy matchups.
Mm-hmm.
But the issue with Forge, as powerful as it is, it's a horrendous top deck, and that's what we're seeing here.
I'm not a huge fan of it against leyline binding decks either. I feel like they've just got a great answer to it that they can get down. What's this one we're seeing?
This is Fireglass Mentor. So this is a 2/1, and at the beginning of your second main phase, if an opponent lost life this turn, you get to exile or look at the top 2, exile 1, and you can play it this turn.
That seems extremely powerful. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's
very, very powerful card.
Powerful, especially on the face of an uncommon. Answer to your question about what you call a group of angels, it is a core of angels.
Okay. Like a chorus, kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Tune in next week for more Will Hall facts.
I just need more Will Hall jokes.
I used to do the facts of the locations we were at and going to. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. Yep.
Yeah, I'm slacking a little bit this week. I'll do better. Please don't fire me, production.
I mean, we got some time before the next round. We next break, do some research on Madison. Come back with something.
All right, I'm on it. I'm doing it. So this Angel's cracking in. We're at 5 life. It's not looking pretty good. And after this game, we'll have a little look at how the leaderboard's looking, because obviously yesterday we had the modern event. That was 8 rounds of modern plus cut to top 8. So loads of people gained a bunch of points. One more person got their invite to the end of the year invitational. Here's the handshake. We're going to see the team on the right of our screens taking down. So Domain Ramp, Bant Nadu, and the Demir. We just call it Demir Frog at this point. I guess that's probably a good one. taking
to
it
be
down,
rough.
advancing to a 3-0 record. So we'll jump back to the booth quickly while we set up, and we're going to show you the leaderboard of the results from what happened yesterday. Now it's updated. We're going to have a better look at who's one step closer to getting to that 35k invitational at the end of the year. So Harrison got a little bit more points, but
Look at Garrick.
yeah, up to 105. Really leapfrog a bunch of players there. One of them we just seen in Sean Gallagher.
Yeah, I remember we talked about this earlier where I said that Garrick was going to jump up a few number of spots. I didn't exactly know he was going to jump up this many spots. So yeah, Garrick is right on the heels of Harrison, and then we just saw Sean, falling to 2-1 in this event, but still can maybe pick up some points and get a little bit on there. And then yeah, if you just look at, like I said, Zoe, Tim, Connor, Cliff, all these people who are not qualified, just mainstays of the NRG.
Yeah, sure enough, I think Zoe was playing the Sealed yesterday, which, there's multiple events running at the NRG series. So, if you're part of this, if you want to turn up, if you're maybe not a fan of Modern, well, you can play another event. If you're a fan of Legacy, you can probably play that event. So much going on at them, as well as artists, as well as the awesome prize walls. So you're never going to walk away from an NRG event upset. That is for sure. These are the players on the leaderboard currently, but we've got a lot of players already locked. We can see everybody here in orange, but there's a bunch on this that aren't locked. They just managed to get it done one and done. Notably, Nikachu has fallen off the leaderboard, and I know that he's going to be at the end of the year invitational. And there he is, that face, that grin. He could be a Joker. He could be a villain in a movie, and I'd watch it. You know what I mean? So we got return champion Stephen Dykeman, and that's one of the advantages of winning this event, right? You win this event, you get to the automatic invite. You can grind for the whole year and play these events, because why wouldn't you? But you can do that knowing that you're going to the end of the event. The pressure is off. You could turn over some of your fun decks, try some of the spice, try and maybe make a new meta game cool for the weekend, and adapt the meta. Any other big hitters on here that you stand out that you think in that end of the invitational we're going to have to really have our eyes on?
I mean, Dom Harvey, shout out to Dom. He had the double back-to-back wins. I mean, just every single person on this list we've been talking about the entire time, just absolute killers. And it's going to be, can't wait to see who else qualifies. It's going to be an amazing tournament at the end of the year.
And we're going to pick 3 more names on this list by the end of today as well. So 4 more added by the end of the weekend total. But for me and you, we're going to go have a small little break. We're going to set up, get ready, get the next team in, turn around, pick our feature matches. So we'll be back for round number 4 momentarily. Don't go anywhere. See you shortly.